doesn't like food? Even better, who doesn't like quick and easy recipes that don't taste quick and easy? If so, you're like me, and you love recipes that don't require you to dirty up every dish in the kitchen. Not only is this recipe extremely easy, it only costs $10.81. If you want breadsticks, you might as well round it up to 12. All you need to do is follow 3 simple steps to make this shrimp bisque. The 3 steps are: prep your ingredients, mix all the ingredients together, and you just let it simmer for 30 minutes. Okay, so first of all, you need a stick of butter. I already have my stick of butter in here, and we're just gonna let that melt. And while that's melting, you can go ahead and prep all your ingredients. I've prepped my ingredients. First off, you're gonna need 1 bunch of green onions. I get the green onions in the little bag, and I've just sliced them up, you know, about yay big. And then you need 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese. I've just cut it up so it will melt a little bit faster. 1 bag of frozen shrimp. I like to get the frozen shrimp that's already cooked, deveined, and tailed off, because it's just a lot faster and easier. You just literally dump it in there. I like to rinse it off, and I put a little Tony's on it just to give it some flavor. And then you need 1 pint of half and half, or 16 ounces. You need 2 cans of cream of potato soup, and then 2 cans of whole kernel corn. And you want to drain your whole kernel corn. So, and this is really a versatile recipe. You can put crawfish in it if you don't want shrimp. You can put lobster in it if you want to. Or for people that have food allergies like Brother Alan, Jordan had the great idea of like sausage. I bet that would be, I haven't tried it yet, but I bet it would be really good. This recipe, the most labor intensive part is when the butter's melted. You put your green onions in there and you saute them. Then you add your cream cheese and let that melt. The rest you just dump in there and you walk away and let it simmer for a little bit. It can't get much easier than that. So I'm going to go ahead and add my green onions in here. And we're going to let those saute for a little bit. It keeps in the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 days, or it kind of makes a lot. Like for $10.81, you cannot beat it being a throw together recipe and it being enough to feed the family. And so it keeps for 3 to 4 days, or you can freeze it, and you can freeze it in a Ziploc bag, or you can freeze it in an airtight container. And it says that it'll last in the freezer for about 4 to 6 months. So it's always one of those things, if it's just you and your husband and y'all don't have a big family, you can just freeze it, and then when you're ready to have it again, thaw it out, heat it up, boom, it's ready. A lot of y'all, this morning there was some confusion about bisque. I was telling Brother Jerry that we were going to have shrimp bisque for dinner tonight if he came, but he wasn't able to make it due to the flooding, and that's okay. And he was like, slip bisque, and I was like, no, shrimp bisque. So I looked it up, and bisque is defined as a creamy soup. It actually originated in the French, and the actual meaning is crayfish, which is crayfish is seafood or shellfish or whatever. The original way to make shrimp bisque is they sauteed the shellfish and slightly cooked it to kind of get like a roux going, and then they browned the shells and used that as a thickening agent. But don't worry, mine's way simpler. You just dump. We got cream cheese and half, and that's going to thicken it up, and it's going to be good to go. But that was just, and I actually got that from dictionary.com. I looked it up and did a little research, and that's what they said to do. Okay, so this is about sauteed. I'm going to go ahead and add my cream cheese. Try not to knock everything over in the meantime. And you're just going to kind of stir that and let it melt. I didn't mention, I just put about a teaspoon of Tony's on the shrimp after I rinsed it. That way I wouldn't have to bring my bottle of Tony's. But for those of you who like a little more spicier foods or more flavor, you can always add more to taste. Or if you want to get creative, you can add something else. But That's just how I've always done it, and so I just kind of put 2 steps into one right there. And we're just going to stir this up until you get all the clumps out. It's almost all the way out. I'm just going to help it out a little bit. I put all these ingredients in my Walmart app, and if you want, like I said earlier, it costs $10.81. That's with the frozen shrimp, the Great Value brand of stuff, because I'm cheap and there's nothing wrong with Great Value. And then the breadsticks that I got, they were $2 a box, so you can round it up to $12 if you want to include breadsticks. So that's not too shabby if you ask me. Okay, my cream cheese is all combined in, and I will tell you, the first time I made this recipe, I got to this step, and it was like the butter was melted, and my green onions were sauteed. You know when you saute, they kind of get mushy, and then I put the cream cheese in there, and it was like this ugly, slimy, green mess. And I told Jordan, I was like, I think we may have to go get a pizza out of the freezer, because I don't know how this is going to be. But don't judge a book by its covers. Just wait until the finished product, and it turns out a lot prettier. But when I got to this step, I was like, oh my gosh, I have royally messed this up. I don't know what I did wrong, but this is not how this is supposed to look. So now that you've got that part done, that's the hard part. You're just going to add in your half and half. And then you're going to add in the shrimp. And then your cream of potato. And fun little fact, if y'all want to make this when y'all get home, or sometime if y'all decide y'all like this recipe, Brookshire's does not carry cream of potato soup. One day I was gonna get stuff to cook, and I didn't feel like going to Walmart, so I just went to Brookshire's, and I searched their soup aisle up one side and down the other, and they don't carry it. So you have to go to Walmart or somewhere bigger to get it. We don't have a Kroger anymore, so it's either Brookshire's or Walmart. I don't ever go to Max, so don't quote me on that one. I don't want to lie to you. Okay, now you're just going to dump in your corn. It's whole kernel corn, and you want to make sure that you've drained it. If not, it won't be the end of the world. It'll just be a little thinner. Okay, and once you got all that done, you're just going to stir this until it's all combined. And then you're going to simmer it for 30 to 40 minutes, just however long you want to. And you're going to stir it occasionally. I'm going to say rough about every 10 minutes, just so it won't scorch and stick to the bottom. But that's it. That's all. That's how you make shrimp bisque. Those 3 easy recipes where you prep your ingredients, mix them, and then let it simmer. And that's all I have for y'all today. So